Hi everyone, this is Mayar, Messiah, and Steve, and we'll be talking about Avon market failure in Canada. First, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background about Avon. So, it was founded in 1886 by David McConnell, and it first started as the California Perfume Company. It recorded annual sales of 5.7 billion in 2016, and it came second in direct selling company with 6.4 million representatives. And it was named as well fifth largest beauty company, with Brazil being its largest market share. 88% of its 2013 revenue, which was about 10 billion, came from overseas markets, but it struggled in 2014 as sales have been falling for 5 straight years. And Avon mainly depends on direct selling, and they operate training centers for potential representatives as well. So, for Avon's principles, David McConnell built the company to have a strong culture with strong principles that everyone have to follow. So, first, there's opportunity to earn and learn. So, everyone has the opportunity to learn and earn what position they have by working hard. Second, they should have the highest quality products, and they try to do so, and outstanding customer services, as well as recognition to employees and representatives. If someone is doing good, they always have to recognize him and like praise him for that. And they all have to be like one family. They all have to support each other, respect and trust each other, and as well as they always have to have like this friendly spirit in the company where everyone is always together.
So, how did this begin? As part of a global service model transformation project, the company was attempting to develop new sales order management software in order to reduce costs and hopefully better meet customer needs. Named the Promise Project, this setup would use a new back-end ERP system. So basically what this is in computer science, there's the concept of the full stack. You have the front end of the software, which is what you usually see. Think of like a web page or like the program that you use at work. And then you have the back end, which is stuff like storage and like databases and a lot of stuff you don't see but helps make everything work and communicates with things like the supply chain and helps get orders out and deliveries. So basically, this would be one software system that would work all together and would allow a person that works for Avon to show a product to a customer, make that order, and have it sent to them all in one system. Named the Promise Project, it was designed to save the company around $40 million dollars a year. Again, it would be end to end, but unfortunately, when it was released in Avon, Canada, it caused significant business disruption in that market and did not show a clear return on investment. At that point, it was canceled and cost the company from 100 to 120 million dollars, not including the losses that you can't really account for, like lost employees and lost goodwill.
Mhm. So to be more specific, what exactly went wrong with the Promise Project? Um, so initially, when they rolled out the Promise Project, there were many glitches with the system, which eventually drove sales reps out of the company, and it was 16,000 sales reps who left, and they went to their competitors. And these sales reps couldn't even log into the website, and you had to find. And when you finally did get logged into the website, the system was not accepting orders. So this is a quote that Karen Edwards, former independent sales executive of Avon, had said that there were so many glitches with the system that they weren't able to find a direct way to loop back and find out where this problem or how this distribution channel can be fixed. Appointing a sponsor who lacks the experience, seniority, time, or training to perform the role effectively was one of the failures in leadership. And this means that they had, so when they were doing the Promise Project, they had multiple third party companies working on this software. And since functions of the website are all interrelated to each other, communication would be 200 times more important. But as we learned throughout the semester, the more variables you add to a project, the more difficult it is to control and communicate with one another. Another failure that they had was to set up a proper bug reporting fixing channel, typically in a software project. So we learned in class that there's 6 stages in project development. There's idea generation, then there's scoping, then there's business development, then there's development of the product itself or the service, and then there's testing, and then there's commercial distribution. However, what Avon did was they failed to they rolled it out way too fast, so that they didn't have a great idea as far as what was going to happen at the end. So failures, goals, and vision. So another failure that they had was the why. So they weren't 100% sure on the why moving forward. They pretty much just rolled out the new software and they expected their employees to adapt. So not only did they not know how to operate the system, but they couldn't count on the higher ups to fix the bugs. The culture and values that Myers spoke earlier about, and everyone was just finger pointing. So there was no cohesiveness within the company, and everybody was just looking to blame one another. And the sales reps, which were pretty much the heart of the company, they were leaving the company, and as I said earlier, they were going to their competitors.
So another failure was with the stakeholder engagement issues, that they failed to establish effective communications between individuals, groups, or organizations involved in the project. So pretty much the management group just gave them the software, asked them to use it, but when they had problems and they faced problems using it and managing it, they didn't like go to someone specific to complain. Like they complained, but it wasn't heard pretty much. And then for project tracking and management, the project plan is published, but there is insufficient follow-up or tracking to allow issues to be surfaced and addressed early. As we said, like the management group, they agreed on doing this software, but they didn't communicate it well to their representatives, where the representatives are actually the ones who are gonna use it. So they gave out the software, and they didn't like follow up to see how they're doing and how they're like actually like engaging with it. And then they fail to provide team with appropriate training in either the technology in use, the process that the team will be using, or the business domain in which the system will function. So as I said earlier, that they gave out the software, but some people didn't know how to use it. They're not familiar with the technology and the software, so they pretty much gave out the system and asked them to use it with no training. So that was a problem, and the lack of feedback process allows this content in the team to simmer under the surface.
All right, so now that you understand some of the many ways that they failed, allow us to offer some solutions. So I think from overhearing everything, one of the biggest issues that you have overall was obviously a lack of communication. We think something very key would be to ask for feedback at certain points of the project, or as the text would put it, evaluations. Another solution we have would be to identify risks at different stages of the project and then create risk mitigation strategies in order to take care of those risks when they arise. We would also like to follow more effective software testing guidelines. So I think we can obviously see from this whole problem is that Avon wasn't really a technology company or even a company that would often deal with technological projects, and as a result, they kind of failed because they didn't really handle it the way those projects would normally be handled. You had different contractors working on different aspects of the project that were supposed to work together. And I think before they had rolled it out in Canada, they should have tested it way more in those initial stages and tested those components together so that people would be able to identify different issues with the software. Because when people were having these issues, all you see is the front end. So as a layman, you would automatically assume, okay, there's something wrong with this tablet, there's something wrong with this software right here that I'm looking at. But the reality of software is that anywhere down the line, something else could have gone wrong, and it just shows up to you in that part. So it's very critical, especially for massive projects like this that involve massive amounts of money, to be as effective with testing as possible to minimize issues. We also feel it would be very important to list clear goals and a timeline to be followed, perhaps using a PERT diagram to map out milestones with something like MS Project, and then identify the critical paths so that you know which aspects are most important to not allow the whole project to fall behind. Continuing off of that, we would follow up with the project, with the progress, and have a plan B as well, and an exit plan if the project does not succeed at certain points. And just overall, again, just improving communication, like create a channel for customers and employees to communicate with software development testers. And also, it's very important to have a project management office in those initial development stages because it would allow the project manager to oversee the different aspects of that software and perhaps allow the different companies and organizations involved to coordinate with each other and better communicate whatever issues they might have that might need to be improved.
So this is pretty much the aftermath of Avon past the Promise Project. So currently what they're doing right now is they're investing in multiple different advertisements to adapt to different cultural needs. Their basically bread and butter for style of business was direct selling, and they found out that that didn't work in every single marketplace, so they needed to diversify in their advertisements. Another aftermath is that they're still striving to reduce costs approximately 40 million a year by improving the supply chain, contract terminations, and global headcount reductions. Also, they made many improvements on e-commerce. However, there's a lot more competition in e-commerce because they came into the game way too late. Companies such as Birchbox have a distinct advantage over them. Another aftermath is they're improving their commission structure, but they're still losing sales representatives to their competitors, which is a huge loss for them because they base their sales reps are the heart of the company, and they're the ones that keep the wheel spinning. And here's our sources. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for watching our presentation.
Appreciate it.